Oh, good morning, everyone. Morning, morning, morning. Hello. Morning, Ben. Morning, Ant. Good to see you. Ah, it's a nice coffee. It's a nice, strong, well-needed coffee. Morning, Taco. Morning, morning. Morning, everyone. Thank you for tuning in once again. Taco, I have got something. Let me see if this works. Hang on. Does it work? There you go, Taco. Let me send you something. Hang on. Oh, a little bit more prepared today. A little bit more prepared now. Yuki cooking? Yuki cooking, Kai? Maybe. Maybe. Morning, everyone. Yes, hope you're doing well. FP2, if you're just tuning in, understandable, and you wonder what happened in FP1. Well, it wasn't really anything to write home about. Of course, Yuki Tsunoda is really the topic of conversation heading into this weekend to swap with Liam Lawson, and well, it was a good practice session for him, a much better practice session than Liam Lawson's first outing in Australia. He finished just a 10th and a half behind Max Verstappen, who was complaining about some flexing in the car, which is a bit odd. But very good start to his Red Bull career. They did ask on Sky to Christian Horner, did you turn the engine modes up? It seemed like from the data that the engine modes were turned up, and he said no, they were running the same engine mode. That's possible. I don't know, but regardless, even if they did or didn't, it's to build some confidence in Yuki in that Red Bull car, and he looked good. So, yeah, we'll see if that continues throughout the duration of this weekend, and we will see. Of course, at a circuit that he's familiar at, which is of course going to build confidence anyway. But yeah. Morning, CJ. Morning, morning. Right, let's change thing. Music. Is there no music playing? Or is it playing? I don't know. I can hear it. No music. Oh god, hang on. I didn't realise I was echoing earlier. You could have let me know that I was echoing. Couldn't you? Why are you guys not hearing music? This is bizarre. Give me 2 secs. You can sing for chat. So that now I'm echoing. I don't know. No, hang on. Hello. There we go. I'm back. I don't know. Something's going wrong. Something's going on with my audio for some reason. Thought Sainz going to cook this season with Duracell, but maybe he hasn't found his footing yet. Maybe. I mean, yeah, he definitely hasn't found his footing. He needs some improvements, doesn't he? We will see. I mean, he needs a big... He's gone well here in the past. He's got podiums here. I don't think he's won at Suzuka. No, I don't think he has. But he's had podiums here. He's had the better of Leclerc here in the past. So he had a decent... I mean, he had... Well, where was he? That's not really showing from earlier on. Yeah, I mean, he had an okay session earlier. He was on level playing field with Albon. I think he was just slightly ahead, but yeah. It's really, really bugging me why you guys cannot hear. I think it's on Streamlabs end. It's fine earlier. Oh well. So you have to listen to my dulcet tones, guys. Listening from Washington State. Oh, it must be early in the morning for you, Kendrick. What time is it there in Washington? It's got to be what, 2 a.m.? Silence is golden, Ant. Silence is golden. How have I been, Karam? Yeah, I've been okay, mate. I've been a bit under the weather the last few days. So that's why we didn't do a members-only stream earlier on. And I haven't done really any sim racing, and that work's been very busy as well. But yeah, no, overall though, I can't complain. I've just been looking forward to this weekend as always. So yeah, hoping to get some sim racing in this weekend. Something's off, no music. I know, Raven. I don't know where it's gone. I can hear it in my headphones. For some reason, I'm having issues that if you guys can hear the music, you can hear an echo of my mic. I don't know. Something to do with... Let me see if I can do it again. Hang on. How's that? Am I echoing? Is that better? Yeah? Am I echoing though? I'm not echoing, am I? It's back. Feels normal. I feel like we need a little bit of back. Apologies. I know the race is very different. I feel like we need a little bit of background music, you know, because practice is more chill, isn't it? Practice is more chill. Move that over. Just sorting things out, guys, if you're just joining us. Just had a few technical difficulties. But we're all good. We're all back up and running. There we go. Feels normal now. Roxon, Seats D live from Suzuka. Oh, someone trackside. I love this community. We've always got someone trackside. Brilliant. Where is Seats D, Roxon? I don't know where the seating arrangements are at Suzuka. What part of the track are you at? What corner? Let us know. You were scared if there's going to be no musical stream. For just over 5 minutes, guys, until FP2 gets underway. Welcome, welcome for those of you that are filtering in. Amazing. We had 1,400 of you up at, well, not all up at 2 a.m. because 3 a.m. because in the UK and Europe, obviously we were the only ones who woke up at silly o'clock in the morning to watch practice. But many of you tune in from across the world, so appreciate that. So yeah, but we had 14 of you tuning in for FP1, which is amazing. These we're building. It's getting bigger and better, these streams. So big thank you. Sounds good on the Isle of Wight. Good to know, man. Good to know. The S curves. Oh, what a place to sit, Roxon. What a place to sit. If you don't mind me asking, how much, converted to US dollars or UK pounds, how much did those tickets cost you? Because that's surely one of the prime locations to sit. I know it's only practice, but how much did that ticket cost you? I mean, always intrigued to see what ticket pricing is across different circuits and different places in the world. Morning, David. Well, not morning for me. Afternoon now for you. Is that right? From Western Australia. Good to see you back, mate. You're impressed with Yuki so far, Ibu? Yeah, it was a good start. Definitely a good start. He built his way into the lap, into those laps. He was very mature on the radio. They let him know when he set his fast lap at the time that he was 3 tenths behind George Russell. And he was like, yeah, look, I don't need that. Let's just focus on ourselves. I don't need any reference laps. Very good. What? Free seating for free practice sessions? Mate, Japan just do things right, don't they? Japan just do things right. I want to go to Japan, man. I so want to go. Did Lewis go buzz? Lewis was okay. The Ferraris were okay. They were quite far off of the McLaren of Norris. As we said, we were still 4 tenths earlier on, off of pole position from last year. And as we've seen in the first 2 races of this year, that on average, the qualifying lap times have been a full second quicker, if not more, than what we've seen from the previous season. You mean people can try different seats? That's cool though. So what was the entry fee? Did you pay an entry fee? You probably paid an entry fee, right? But what is it, like a free roaming thing? No, Mark seats, not that kind of free. Sorry. No worries. No worries. Another 6 to Hungary under the roof costed like $1,500 per seat around for the whole weekend. Yeah, so generally speaking, Hungary, a friend of mine, well, my boss actually, and he's a mate of mine, he went to Hungary. Where you go? He went for the 3 days not last year, the year before. I think it was was it last year? It might have been last year, actually, I think he went, yeah. And it cost him, he was sitting at the end of turn 1 in the grandstands. He spent less in a week, or like 4 days, on travel, accommodation, the ticket prices. He spent less than what a grandstand ticket would cost you on Sunday in for the race at Silverstone. Yeah, so I think Hungary still is technically the cheapest ticket to get. I think China is up there as well, but then if you're traveling from Europe, obviously you have to think about fees and stuff. So, sorry, flights. So whoever designed this track needs to be questioned. In what sense? I think this is a great track. This is one of the best circuits on the calendar. It's absolutely brilliant. You joined the Discord? Welcome, Ben. Thank you, buddy. Yes, anyone who wants to continue talking F1, and I'm always active in my own Discord. Of course, I am, and is interested in sim racing. You can hit the join the Discord in the description below. And if you really want to support the channel, guys, as I said, I will be doing to give something back to you guys that support the channel, and even further by being a member of the channel. I am doing exclusive streams now every Thursday, 8 PM. So I said, because I was feeling under the weather, I didn't do yesterday's one, but we'll be previewing the race weekends, and it's just to give you guys a reason for supporting the channel. I just want to give you guys a bit of something back. So yeah, please feel free to, if you want to be a part of that, join as a member. Actually, I think I do have some freebies to give away as well, so give me a second. I could be wrong. I don't want to get you guys' hopes up, but bear with me. I'll get you guys. Surely I do. Surely I do. I do. For those of you that are in early, don't say I don't ever give you guys anything. Vom, JJ, Astro, Ivan, Cornelu, sorry, Tom, Temu, $2 Temu undies, Riffic, thank you for, well, there you go. Welcome to the pit crew. They are chosen by random, so if you didn't receive one, I do apologise. But yes, you'll be able to gain some accessible, gain access to some exclusive live streams that I'll be doing moving forward for those of you that are members. And yes, we have green light. FP2 is underway here at Suzuka. What is my favourite radio message? I don't know. There's so many, isn't there, in the past? So many. Hey Yuri, just got in here. Time for the start. Yes. FP2 underway. Now, this is going to be a session that maybe we see the drivers, no doubt, push a bit more. What has been intriguing to keep an eye on, guys, has been the wind direction and just the wind speeds here today. It has caught a lot of drivers out, so we've seen it fluctuate from around 10 to 20 kilometers an hour. You can see that wind speed and wind direction at the top of your screen there. Next to the timing, next where it says track clear. And that has caught a few drivers out, particularly heading into turn 16 and turn 17. Although I still think a lot of it comes down to the fact that they've been covering a lot of curb and attacking the curbs quite heavily into the final chicane, which in the ground effect era cars has never really been truly something that works out very well, considering all the downforces generated through the floor and underside of the car. If you're going over curbs and attacking curbs, you're obviously breaking that performance. You're removing the floor of the car from the ground and from it being as effective as possible. But yes, some improvements to be made by a few teams out there earlier on. Stake F1 and Haas were very slow. Haas, of course, two very different race weekends for them thus far this season. In Melbourne, completely off the pace and looked like they were going to be nowhere this season, and then they had a resurgence in China. Suzuka, their first session didn't look too good for them. Oscar Piastri, what is wrong with Piastri? There isn't anything wrong with Piastri. Earlier on, he wasn't able to set really a quick timed lap, and then he went on to his long runs. Oscar Piastri, understandable if he wants to focus on long runs. He has been comprehensively beaten by his teammate the last 2 seasons here. Of course, Piastri has improved year on, year out, but Suzuka has definitely been a track where the gap to Lando Norris has been at its largest. So, coming off the high of China, he'll be looking to improve here and continue that form, go for back-to-back wins. But there is the rain. Will it help him? Will it assist him? That is expected on Sunday. We will see. But yeah, definitely a track where he needs to improve relative to his teammate, who is yet to come out of the pit lane. And of course, can Yuki continue that confidence building in that Red Bull car after a good FP1 as well? So a few things to keep an eye out on. There's Carlos Sainz says, there's something wrong with the car. It's bouncing like crazy through turn 13. Check the rear. As Carlos Sainz has made a return to the pit lane. So, where is Sainz? Is he back in the pit lane? Yes, he is, yeah. P2. I was looking for his name. He's all the way at the top for some reason. So, yeah, something not comfortable in that Williams car for Carlos Sainz. Of course, needs a decent finish here this weekend. Thank you for subscribing, guys. Much appreciated. Thank you. What's up? Yes, so guys, I have made some changes to the mods. So if you spam stuff, of course, the streams have been getting very busy, so just made some changes to to the modding of the chat just to make it easier for the mods and stuff. So make it a little bit more of a nicer place for you guys to be in. If it is overzealous, let me know. The mods can let me know, and I can make any alterations between now and the next stream. Because Nightbot sometimes, these AI have a mind of their own. They sometimes go a bit rogue. Science is porpoising, yeah, definitely. This circuit is so all over the place. Well, it's a figure 8. It is a figure 8. It's one of the best circuits in the world. I love free-flowing circuits, and where's that? There we go. Let's get rid of that. I love free-flowing circuits, and this is just amazing. So you head down into turn 1 and turn 2. An unbelievable corner there. It's such a great corner because you can defend on the inside and the outside, and it's just great. Then you head into turn 3 up to 6, which are called the Senna S's. They are phenomenal. The changing direction there to watch an F1 car go through there is just brilliant. Then you head all the way through Dunlop Curve, which is turn 7, flat through there, but we've seen plenty of drivers have offs. Then you head into the Degners, which are turn 8 and turn 9. The turn 9 is the corner under the bridge, because this is technically a figure 8 circuit. Then you head into the hairpin of turn 11, where drivers do try to make an overtake if you can catch someone napping. A bit more difficult now these days with the larger F1 cars, but still possible. Then they make their way all the way round to turn 13, which is commonly referred to and known as Spoon Corner. Turn 13, turn 14. Although the speed that they're taking that corner from the onboards is phenomenal at the moment. It doesn't look like there's hardly any lift through there or any like downshift from what I could witness last time from on the onboard with Lando Norris. It really took me by surprise. Then you have 130R, which is turn 15. Not really a corner now these days because of how much downforce the cars generate. And then they head into turn 16 and 17. So yeah, a prime overtaking opportunity down into turn 16 and 17. I do think there's only one DRS zone here, which is the start-finish straight. I don't think there's any DRS from turn 14 up to turn 15. There used to be, but not anymore. As I'm just watching Lando Norris start his lap on the TV, and he had a snap of oversteer on acceleration out of the last corner there. So how is Lando getting on? As George Russell looks to be quite comfortable at the moment, quietly going about his business as he has done to start this season. A driver without a contract heading into 2026. So Lando is 6th fastest in the first sector, so not a good first sector for Lando. Maybe he needs to build some temperature into those tyres. There's a double yellow as Jack Doohan, who missed out on FP1 due to Ryo Hirakawa stepping into his car, has started off FP2 by losing control of the car, I presume. And I think Jack Doohan may be in the barrier here, and he is, because it's a red flag. At minimum, he is beached. Jack Doohan, who missed out on FP1, we've mentioned how important it is for these rookies to get every single lap that they possibly can. And well, we missed out on that important practice session because Hirakawa, Japanese reasons, maybe monetary reasons, home crowd, etc. We do know that Jack Doohan's seat is at risk, of course, with Colapinto waiting in the wings, waiting to see the TV coverage of what exactly has happened to Jack Doohan. Is it a mechanical issue? Is it beached? Is he in the barrier? What has he done? It's a huge crash, Taco is reporting, as it is indeed a huge crash as the images appear on my screen. And Jack Doohan, oh dear, there's a wheel off the left rear. The rear of the car is battered. Oh, that's going to be, could be a little while until we get any more running in this session. What has happened to Jack Doohan there? Has he had a snap of oversteer through that corner? Is it an issue? Is it a driver error? Is it something to do mechanically with the car? But what isn't definitely dubious is the state of that Alpine. That is in disrepair, that is for sure. Don't worry, Jack. I've ended up in that barrier plenty of times in iRacing. I know exactly how you feel. Oh dear, that is not good at all, guys. If you're just joining us, yeah, Jack Doohan has lost control of the car down into turn 1, and there is a, he's okay, and there was a big crash, a red flag here for Jack Doohan. He missed out on FP1. What did he do? Welcome back, Logan Sargent. Yeah, it's not great. Oh, that car is battered. Absolutely. The only thing that might be okay here is that in regards to time loss, is that it is all tyre barriers there. So it's just a... What has he done? Waiting to see what's happened. That looked nasty on the onboard. I'm still waiting. Your TV coverage is a bit more ahead of me, Taco, or you're looking at F1 TV. Flavio is pissed. Oh, I mean, yeah. I mean, look, whether it's an issue, whether it's a driver error from Jack or whether it's the car, Flavio will use it to his own advantage. He's not going to use that. It's not going to go in Jack's favour. He might have just dipped his wheel on the left. He might have just dipped his left wheel on the grass. If that's the case, then that's driver error. If he's done that. But yeah, it's a big old crash. He's gingerly getting out of the car. So no doubt probably quite winded from that. I mean, you're heading full throttle, full speed, DRS open as you're heading down the main straight there into turn 1. Tyre barrier is completely done. Yeah, I mean, they'll be able to get it back, though. It's not like it's a metal barrier. Oh, wow. I mean, he was kind of wobbling a little bit as he stood up there with the medical team. He may have maybe a concussion there. Oh, my God. He does not look good at all. Oh, dear. He does not look good. He's very like wobbly as he's walking away. So definitely shaken up there, Jack Doohan. I mean, I'm not surprised. Being supported to the car. He's okay, but he's definitely feeling it. No doubt there. It's never nice to see. Might have a concussion from that, even with the safety precautions and how good these F1 cars are. With safety, here we go. So watching the onboard of Jack Doohan now to see exactly what's happened. So down the main straight he heads as I'm watching the TV coverage for you guys now, and he has DRS open. Oh my God, Jesus Christ, that is such a big. He is full speed as he heads into that. What the hell? No, I don't think he did dip a wheel on the grass. Oh my goodness, man. Fuck. Oh my God, the speed he heads into that cut. That is almost like he's gone straight into that barrier full throttle. Holy moly. He literally, I don't think that's driver error. I don't know what happens there. I don't really know what happens there. Brake failure, I don't know. The car just goes round. He's turning into the corner. So he hasn't dipped a wheel in the grass. Do you know what it looks like? It's like when the DRS, you've left the DRS open and you just lose downforce. That the car has lost downforce there as he's entering the corner and the rear just goes round on him. So maybe something's happened. Anthony Davison's saying maybe the car bottomed out. I don't think that's Jack's fault. I mean, I don't know what else he can do there. It's the way I've experienced that in iRacing when you've left the DRS open, heading down into turn 1, and you touch the brake and you have no downforce, understandably, and you crash like that. But these guys, the DRS closes as they touch the brake. I mean, maybe the DRS was left open to. I mean, I'm yet to see a different angle, but the speed. I mean, go and check it out on Twitter, guys. The speed that he heads into that corner. Wow. Was his DRS open? Was it DRS failure? It looked exactly like what happens on iRacing when the DRS is open. You have no downforce and the car just goes mid-corner. You can see on his wheel the DRS lights are still on the wheel. Okay, so question is, does the DRS automatically... I mean, the DRS should automatically stop when he heads down into turn 1. When he touches the brakes. I don't know if the DRS he manually has to turn off or whether it automatically does with a point down there. So I don't know if that's his mistake or whether if it auto closes. Jolene Palmer is saying that you need to close it automatically on F1 TV. Hang on. Say that again, Taco. He needs to close it? The driver needs to close it? Or it automatically closes? It should automatically close. So we said, yes, I think that's the assumption, Casho, yeah, is that the DRS didn't close at the right time. He needs to close it. Okay, so it is Jack's fault. If he's... Because I know obviously iRacing isn't real life, but I know on iRacing, you need to... Because what happens at Suzuka at the corner, you have to... Normally, as soon as you touch the brake, DRS automatically closes. Now, that's okay if you're in a straight line, but the braking into turn 1 is not in a straight line. You're braking as you're heading into the corner. So your approach speed is so, because of the nature of it, you're not braking in a straight line. So you need the DRS closed before you head into the braking zone. And maybe that's what's happened. I'm not sure if they had. So on iRacing, you have to automatically close the DRS before you touch the brakes, because you're braking after you turn into the corner. Like, you don't brake in a straight line then turn into the corner. You're braking as you brake after you start turning in. So you want the downforce. Now in real life, I don't know if the DRS automatically closes before that turning point. That's what I'm not entirely sure happens in real life. But in iRacing, I know that you don't. You can leave the DRS open pretty much for as long as possible. But you'll lose downforce and you'll have a crash exactly like Jack Doohan's just done. I think the DRS zone is into the corner. That's what I think, Taco, but I don't know. We'll get it clarified. We will get it clarified, but yes, that's definitely what's happened, I reckon. As soon as I saw it, I was like, that's... But is it driver error? That's what we're trying to look at. If you brake, then the DRS will auto close, but on that corner you brake slightly after turning, so he should close it first, then turn the brake later. Yes, Daniel, yeah, that's what I am assuming, but I don't know if that is the case in real life. Whether he has to close it, or whether it auto closes for safety reasons beforehand. You know, like that there might make them rethink how DRS works down into turn one, if that is what's happened. Right, hang on, we're just watching it back. It closed when he went off throttle as he was already spinning. Yeah. I mean, he definitely doesn't press a button. He definitely doesn't press the DRS button to close it. Hang on. Hang on. It is, so Crofty's saying it is operated manually with, so he is confirming to us that it is closed manually as you head down into turn one. But I'm still yet to see if still yet to see if the DRS was even open. I'm yet to see a rearboard shot. From what we can see, I mean, they're showing wide angles of Jack Doohan in his DRS isn't open. It was too late to close. So it was open. It was open, DRS open. He manually closed it too late. Okay, there we go. So yeah, driver error. Driver error. There we go. Come to the conclusion, guys. Driver error by Jack Doohan there. Costly one. Very costly one. Surely when you brake pressure check before the corner, it would turn off. Yeah, but you don't... This is the problem. You don't brake in a straight line down into turn one. You brake almost at the apex. You're braking so late into turn one that you're turning in. So you're straight and you're turning in still full throttle into turn one. You only start to brake as really you kind of are just about approaching the apex at turn one. And that's why you manually have to turn off the DRS while you're in a straight line, because you need that downforce as you turn into the corner. This is one of those scenarios where I genuinely have experience of this on the sim, on iRacing. Because this caught me out as well when I first started driving F1 cars on iRacing. Is the DRS. But yeah, I manually have to turn this off before I head down into turn one. So yeah, because DRS works, but as soon as you come off full throttle, if you lift, whether you touch the brake, DRS will automatically close, whether you're in a straight line or not. So nasty accident. Big respect to the safety features F1 have introduced over the years. Yes, I mean, honestly, guys, that is probably the highest speed crash I have seen in F1 for a very long time. The speed that he went into... I'd love to see the replay. Can we go back and check? No, we can't. We'll check the replay afterwards, but we will get... So we've got the speeds here. I can go back on the replays. We can have a look at the data after this, and we can check the speed that he entered that corner. Honestly, it was phenomenal. When you watch the shots, there's some camera angles where you just see him just like a rocket straight into that barrier. So yeah, thankfully, he was definitely very shaken up. He said he was okay, but he'll need to be checked over by the medical team for sure. He may have a concussion from that. I mean, that's some serious G. I reckon that's more G that he took on there than what Max did in Silverstone, which people love to go back to. That's kind of like the last real high-speed crash I think I can think of. 2021. So... Oh, Jacques Villeneuve has grown out his hair. I didn't realise he looked like that with hair. I was like, who is that? So drivers need to close DRS manually for this track. Yes, Mert. Yeah. Yeah. Wonder if he'd done that if he wasn't under so much unnecessary pressure. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. You're talking fine margins. Like, he's closed it just a touch too late. He's closed it a touch too late. It's fine margins that have ended up being where the result is catastrophic for him. Because of the car, because of him not having any practice in FP1. Yeah. Yes, so to recap, guys, Jack Doohan, if you're just joining us, has crashed. We have a red flag because Jack Doohan had a mega crash down into turn 1. Closed his DRS too late, which you manually have to operate down into turn 1 because the turning, you're still turning into the corner of turn 1 before you brake. So unlike most DRS sections on a track, on the calendar, you brake in a straight line. They're at the end of straights, or DRS is at a straight. Turn 1, the braking for turn 1 is so late that you're turning into that corner. You're still full throttle as you pretty much kind of hit the apex of turn 1 because of the nature of it being very swooping turn 1, turn 2. So you have to manually close the DRS. Otherwise, you see the crash that we just experienced with Jack Doohan. So Doohan is racking up damage points and penalty points. Yeah, it's not good. It's not good for him. But hopefully he can recover. Hopefully he can recover. But yeah, it's not good, is it? How long now? How long now until, what were we, race 3? Rumours were 5 races. So after this triple header, Jack Doohan may be out. I think that was the rumours, wasn't it? He had 5 races and then they were able to assess his performance. So now we know that that Jack has balls. Estimated time session will be resumed at past. So that is 8 minutes. Okay, 7 minutes, something like that. So 8 minutes. Shall we? Let's update this, shall we? Oh, hang on. What is the time? 7:30, isn't it? There we go. FP2 restart in just a few minutes' time, guys, due to that crash of Jack Doohan. Thank you for the subscribing, by the way, guys. Much appreciated. As always, continue to hit that subscribe button and hit that like button as well. Over 100 likes. Thank you. He's doing all right. He's okay, but he's got some... He did look pretty shaken up. He looked pretty wobbly when he got out of the car. Understandably, that was a fair old crash. I wouldn't surprise me if that was over 50G, that crash. The fact that he was able to reply so quickly and go, oh, I'm okay, is yeah, impressive. Very impressive. Kind of interesting they showed the images of the crash and didn't. I think because he'd replied so quickly, Taco, that he was okay. I think that's why. Morning, George. Morning, Georgia. You up with Mila? She all right? But Max is last because they only just started practice. Yeah, so no one's really got a lap time in yet. Look, you can see there, 3 laps is the most that anyone's been able to set. It was within the first 5 minutes of the session, or just over 5 minutes of the session, where Jack Doohan was able to interrupted the practice here. Interestingly, Lando went to top of the timing screens in Sector 2 there, very early on. But yeah, not really much to discuss at the moment, guys, with just such little running due to this red flag. But we are going to get 30 minutes at least of FP2 due to Jack Doohan. Driver error, it seems, turning off his DRS, closing his DRS too late, which is manually operated down into Turn 1. It can automatically close if you lift off throttle or if you brake a touch earlier, but that's not how you approach Turn 1 here at Suzuka. So yes, drivers have to manually close the DRS before they turn into the Turn 1 corner, and yeah, just seems he closed it just a touch too late, and it was very costly for him. Lost the rear of the car as he turned in and went headfirst into, or sideways pretty much, into the Turn 1 barriers, but thankfully he's okay. But a very, very, very fast crash. She'll be right. Aussie, she'll be right. Jack has it in his DNA. Yeah, I'm sure he'll be okay. But yeah, look, hopefully he recovers, and he's that car is. I mean, it took a fair old bit of damage. Hopefully he's able to get back out there tomorrow and get some well-needed lap times, because he didn't get any in FP1 due to stepping out of the car for Ryo Hirakawa. And yeah, recovers for qualifying. It'll buff out. Is he okay? Yeah, he seems to be okay. We're yet to see what the medics report. As I said, he looked shaken up when he came out of the car. I guess the issue for them will be whether he has any sort of concussion. That'll be the real thing for them, because he looked very wobbly when he got out of the car. That's from what I saw image wise, which is understandable considering the amount of force he'd just taken in that crash. So it's a real testament that he was able to get on the radio. It's a real testament to the safety of F1 cars now these days, how he was just able to get straight on the radio and say, I'm okay. I'll tell you what, that sort of crash happens 30 years ago, 40 years ago, no chance. Last thing someone needs is Flavio by your side. Yeah, by your bedside. Morning, how you feeling? Good to see you. Who wrecked? Jack Doohan. Jack Doohan wrecked, if you're just joining us, guys. Track is clear. Yeah, session gets underway on the half-hour mark. As you can see, we have a countdown there of just under 2 minutes until FP2 gets back underway. So yes, crashed very early on in this session, but due to the size of the crash, it's taken just a bit of a while to get the car cleared. Thankfully, it was into tyre barriers, so that energy was dispersed, and Jack is okay while the car isn't. And yeah, the repair time for tyre barriers, of course, is a lot quicker than it would be if it was any sort of metal barrier and so forth. But yeah. Not long. Just over a minute, guys. It's going to be a very busy FP1. Of course, they do have FP3 tomorrow, but FP1, let's see what these teams do. Do they just completely throw away any long running? Or do they go out there to set some quali laps? We will see. We did expect that, so maybe it's expedited their plans for this practice session. That crash must have hurt. Yeah, I imagine it did. Yeah. What do I think the order of the top 4 teams will be? I think the McLarens will be fastest, to be honest with you. I'll tell you what, George Russell looks quick. George Russell looks dab handy. From what I've seen thus far, George Russell, I think, will be on the second row. Could even sneak up there on the front row as well, as he nearly did in China last week, or pole position anyway. I think George will be up there. Max, never rule Max out, although he did seem a bit off the pace in FP1, but never rule him out. Yeah, I could see the McLarens line up on the front row with maybe George and Max second row. The Ferraris, just never know if they're going to turn up or not. So we'll see. But there we go. Green Knights. Pair exit open. FP2 back underway. George, do I think they can rebuild the car for Sunday? Yeah, they'll be rebuilding that car in preparation for practice tomorrow. They really, it's amazing how quickly they can repair cars and get straight back out, get the cars straight back out there. So, yeah, they'll have that car in tip-top shape for tomorrow, no doubt. But it's more so Jack's confidence of whether or not he's fit to get back in the car tomorrow. So we'll see. Can we pin a message that Jack Doohan crashed? We can indeed. Hang on. Oh, why can't I do that? A few drivers out there on softs, as we predicted. Tsunoda out there on softs again. Stroll on softs. So, why is that not working for me? Something's happening with my... There we go. So yes, so only half an hour, less than half an hour now of FP2 remaining. Yes, because of Jack Doohan's crash. Few drivers out on softs, as we said, that's expedited really their plans for FP2. They still have FP3 tomorrow to maybe do some long runs. But this is really the only relative session to qualifying tomorrow. Of course, qualifying is conducted in the afternoon, and FP2 is also conducted in the afternoon. So track temperatures and conditions are similar to what they will see tomorrow. There is a chance of rain for qualifying tomorrow, but it is low. But there is a high possibility of rain all day Sunday. So, yeah, teams setting up the cars for... well, I mean, that's the thing. They have to... Qualifying, we know, is so important now these days, is that with a dry qualifying to a wet race, could we see something similar that we saw in Melbourne? Who knows? Yuki looks good. Yeah, look, Yuki started well. He has started well. Of course, it's all about confidence building for Yuki. He's at a circuit that he knows very well. And, yeah, just needs to build on that. Of course, qualifying is where it's going to matter, when the pressure is truly on. Of course, every lap in this Red Bull is going to be a pressure lap for Yuki, for sure. But qualifying and the race on Sunday is where it matters. So, but a good start nonetheless for him to be close to Max and something to build upon. Norris on a quali lap. He isn't on a quali lap at the moment, no. As Yuki goes, is on a quali lap. He's on a push lap right now, Yuki. Has he got a bit of traffic to contend with, potentially? As we are seeing purples across the board here at the moment because of the nature of not really anyone sitting a quick lap with such little run in an FP2 at the moment. So 28.1 is what we saw in qualifying pole position last year. Maybe we'll see that beaten in this session. We had a 28.5 in FP1. As Norris does bail out of that lap and goes into the pits on the mediums, so no doubt he'll come out on the softs shortly. That's maybe what he's about to do. Lewis Hamilton's on a flyer as well at the moment, but you can see there the track is improving as Alonso has gone off at turn 9 in the second Degner. There has been a change in the track layout there with the curbing. There is gravel that has been moved closer to the track, so less room for error. And I think Fernando Alonso brings out our second red flag of FP2 and becomes the first victim of the new changes at the second Degner turn 9. I'm going to presume he has dipped a wheel on the gravel and the car has gone round on him into the barrier. Let's see what has happened there for Fernando Alonso, but we have had very, very little running in this FP2 session. We had a red flag by Jack Doohan, a very, very big high-speed crash into turn 1 earlier on. And, well, we have a second red flag here caused by Fernando Alonso, the driver who is yet to complete a race due to his crash in Melbourne and then the brake issues that he had in China. And, well, his weekend here hasn't started off much better either because he's put it in the barriers, I believe. That red flag, no doubt, would be due to that, unless it is... is he not in the wall? Is he not in the wall? What's he done? What has he done? Let's have a look. I'm presuming he's in the wall, but you'll say, oh, he's beached. Oh, he's not even made it to He's not even made it to turn 9. He's not even made it to turn 9. That is bizarre. So has he hit the curb? Has he hit the curb too hard on his entry into turn 8? Has he hit the curb there into turn 8 too hard and he's beached himself? That is bizarre from Fernando Alonso. Lost the car on entry by the looks of it. On entry, dipped a tyre. Ah, there we go. There we go. So hopefully this won't be too long of a red flag, but it is a red flag nonetheless because he is in a position that is dangerous for cars to keep going full speed at. Oh dear. This is multi-viewer. So waiting to see a replay of what has happened. So Fernando Alonso has beached the car. He didn't even make it to turn 9. And let's just watching a replay now of what happened. So he's going around Dunlop Curve as he enters into the first Degner, turn 8. Oh no! I think he's dipped a wheel on the grass on the left-hand side before the corner. So he's... Yeah. Oh, wow. That's a very, very rare mistake from the very experienced Fernando Alonso, most experienced driver on the grid. And he dipped a wheel on the left-hand side on the entry to turn 8. And then the car's obviously lost control. He's had to try and save it. And he's gone into the gravel. As Alonso's also reporting bouncing on the entry as well. So a bit of porpoising return in here this weekend is being reported. So Verstappen just can't finish a lap. He's not even got out there yet, really, yeah. He said he was bouncing on something on the entry. Yeah, but that didn't really affect him in relation to the error that he just made. The error was himself. He's just... I mean, this is the thing. These cars are the widest they've ever been in F1 history. And we're starting to see drivers dip a wheel, slightly misjudge it into the entry of these corners. And, yeah, there's literally a camera in the grass that showcases where Fernando Alonso hit the grass. And went wide there, so. Yeah. Good save in the end, really. Good save in the end. What's up with Alonso this year? Is it time to send him to the glue factory? Well, to be fair to Alonso, he was going pretty well. He was running in the points in Melbourne. And then he just made a slight error that was very costly in Melbourne over that turn 6 curb. And then China, he was running, around the points or in the points. And then he had that brake failure very early on. So to be fair, it hasn't been a poor start to the season for Alonso. It's just, I mean, a crash is never good. And the brake failure wasn't his issue. But yeah, it hasn't been terrible for him. There's still a long way to go in this season. There's still 22 more races, so... Man, what is happening in Japan? So many cars getting out. Well, it's only 2 thus far. But they've removed Alonso's car pretty quickly. I presume we're going to get underway in a couple of minutes' time. So, do I think Yuki stays in the Red Bull after this season? I don't know. Unless he does a tremendous job, and unless Honda are willing to pay probably more money than they currently are, I don't think so. I think that second seat is a paid seat, and maybe a lot of it determines on what happens with Max and whether or not he wants to go elsewhere. But it's known that Honda already paid 10 million for the seat previously that he was in, the V-carb seat. Now they're paying an additional 10 million. So I imagine Red Bull will want more than that. Session will resume at 41 minutes. Or 19 minutes 2. So that is... You're talking less than 2 minutes, guys. Woke you at 2 a.m. for 2 red flags. Hey, Ellen. Just finished work. Time to tune in for FP2. How's Yuki-san doing? Yeah, FP1 was very good. FP2... I can't really tell how anyone's doing, to be honest with you. Barely anyone's fit a lap in. Because of the early crash by Jack Doohan, and now the second red flag of Fernando Alonso. So yeah, too early to say in this FP2 session how Yuki's getting on, but FP1 was a positive start for sure. But yes, continuing into next year, I don't know. Who knows with Red Bull, really? It depends what car they've got, whether they can keep Max. I think Max will be there for 26 for sure, but it may be like Lewis, where he signs a new contract with a new team and he leaves Red Bull at the end of 2026. But Yuki, I think, will depend, one, obviously, on his performance. But even if he does well, it might be a tall order for him to stay because Honda are moving to Aston Martin. So do Honda want to give Yuki all that money for him to stay in the Red Bull? I don't know. Maybe they will. Maybe they will, because Red Bull is still considered to be a top team. Or is still a top team, even heading into 2026. So I don't know. There's a lot of permutations, variables as to why Yuki may remain there or may not. So, but we do know he's there for the whole season. Do I think Yuki will help for the constructors? I think he will. Yeah, I think, look, at the end of the day, I think even if Liam Lawson was given the whole season, I think he would have helped help with the constructors. I think these drivers, given time, they will adapt to the car eventually. But obviously, Red Bull is not a team that normally gives time. But they don't have any other better options now. This is the thing for them. Yuki is it. Like, they can't go for anyone else, because they could have a Liam Lawson situation happen again. So they've got to give Yuki the opportunity. He's the most experienced driver in their roster at the moment, and they need to trust him. Of course, also helps they're getting an extra 10 mil for their troubles. So even if he does well or not, they're still getting an extra 10 mil, which they weren't going to get from keeping Liam Lawson in the car. Papa Shaw might not be too happy at Alonso's performance. Well, Alonso's only got another year contract anyway, so Alonso's pushing way too hard looking at his first sector. No, I don't think it was that. It was just purely you're talking the slightest of misjudgments again, which is why he went off. So not ideal. But we have running again. Only 18 minutes remaining of this FP2 session. Most of it has been halted by a crash by Jack Doohan and then a off by Fernando Alonso there. Thankfully, his car is intact, unlike Jack Doohan's is. But we're going to see lots of drivers now push at the end of this session on the soft compound tyre, as we can see. So yeah, we should see some good lap times here. Remember, 28.1 is the pole position of last year. So will we see drivers get below that in this session? I think maybe. Why is there no curb outside of that turn that Alonso touched the grass? Because it's always been like that. Sorry, I was just watching Max Verstappen and George Russell playing around at the start, as George Russell wanted to get past Max Verstappen. That's always been grass on the outside there. There shouldn't really be curbing on the outside on the entry to that corner. It's just not. It's just kind of how it's always been. So, you wished RB believed in Yuki before now. Yeah, look, I think a lot of people do. Look, we know for political reasons and business reasons is why they weren't taking Yuki. Look, ultimately, that second seat at Red Bull for the past 5 years has been a paid seat. That's why they took Sergio Perez, because his sponsors were putting forward $30 million a year for him, plus the additional sponsorship and merchandise and stuff like that as well that they brought in over the years. So yeah, that's why Perez was kept for so long. And they also had a significant pace advantage over the rest of the field, where they could afford to have a driver who was half a second, 7 tenths off of their number one driver, and he would still make it into Q3 and still finish P2, P3 in the championship. Whereas that's not the case now with how close the performance is of these teams. If you're that far off your teammate, then you're going to be, as we saw, not making it out of Q1. So, right, Charles Leclerc about to set fastest lap of this session with a 28.6. So we are already at 1/10 off of the fastest lap we saw in FP1. Oh no, actually we're right at it, as George Russell goes with a 28.5. As Lewis Hamilton is improving as well on those times, as Pierre Gasly goes in at third fastest. Lewis Hamilton through into turn 16. How was his break in here? Of course, former winner, as Max goes third fastest, a 10th behind George Russell. So quite close there, as Lewis does go fastest with a 1:28.544. So 0.02 of a second quicker than George Russell there. But yeah, already on the pace of the fastest lap that we saw from Lando Norris in FP1. As Isaac Hadjar goes fastest. Ooh, Isaac Hadjar in the RB goes faster than 2 Ferraris. Faster than Max Verstappen in the Red Bull and faster than George Russell in a Mercedes. Unbelievable pace from the RB there as Lawson goes third fastest there. 0.04 of a second behind his teammate. He was 3/10 quicker than Hadjar in the middle sector. Oh my goodness, Lawson. Where did that pace come from? But yeah, lost a bit of time in the first and second sector, Lawson. So yeah, Lawson building up some confidence as Piastri is going fastest in the first sector. It's interesting. Hadjar is up there in the top 4. He did a 30.7 in the first sector as Piastri. Hadjar's faster than the McLaren of Piastri. Behave. And then Lando's like, get back where you belong. Get back where you belong with a 28.1. There we go. That is pole position from last year, ladies and gentlemen. So we are going to see, as we have seen throughout this season thus far, the cars be on average. And there's another red flag. What has happened here? There's another red flag. I cannot see a car that is off the circuit. So there is another reason for this red flag. There is no doubt something on the track that they want to remove. Oh, is Bortoletto? Is the Bortoletto going very slowly? Did Bortoletto go off and they've thrown a premature red flag? Maybe? Maybe that's what's happened there. Is Bortoletto's gone off? I mean, everyone's moving. Everyone's icons are moving. This is our third red flag of the session. Not entirely sure what's happened here. Did someone have a spin and that's why they threw the red flag? Bortoletto was going very slow. Not sure. They reckon... So Crofty's reporting Ocon was going slowly out of the hairpin at turn 11. Was it Ocon? Oh, they got a fire on the grass. There's a literal fire. Oh, there's actual flames. There's actual flames. Where's that into? That's at turn 11. No, that's turn... That's the Degnar, isn't it? I think that's the Degnar... Where is it? No, it's the Dunlop curve. It's Dunlop. There's an actual fire on the grass through Dunlop curve. How big is the fire? I mean, it's throwing off a fair bit of smoke. There's literal flames. There's quite a bit of flames. Remember China last year? The grass caught on fire. Yes. Yeah, but it's actually... So because the cars are bottoming out as they're heading through Dunlop curve... the sparks are obviously landing on the grass, and they're it set the grass on fire. Oh wow! There we go. There we go. Unbelievable. If the practice has 3 red flags, imagine how the race is going to go. Well, it's supposed to be wet, isn't it, on Sunday? But that's a fair bit of fire there. All my fault. I know. I'm sorry. All my fault. You woke up early, guys, for this, and there's now red flags. 3 red flags. 1 for Jack Doohan, if you're just joining us, who crashed into turn 1. Honestly, go check it out on Twitter. It's such a high-speed crash. And then we had Alonso go off at turn 8, dipping the wheel. Coincidentally, basically right at where the fire, just before after where the fire is, as he head into turn 8, beached a car there. Car is intact though for him, unlike Jack Doohan, and now we've got a fire on the circuit. Bizarre practice. Just come back to see Lawson in front of the balls. Was like, what the hell? But I see it's just messed up practice. Yeah. FP2 had no right to probably be more eventful than the actual race. Someone did ask, do I think there's a possibility that the RB car could beat the Red Bull car? I mean, yeah. I mean, the way it's going at the moment, for sure. For sure. I mean, never count out Max. But that Red Bull we saw with Yuki in the first 2 races, but it's got pace. It really does have pace, and he should have have more points than he currently has. I still think they're down on power. I think something would have to go wrong for Max quite considerably. But, yeah, I mean, it definitely looks to be the best of the midfield for sure at the moment. I mean, you've seen it hold up Kimi Antonelli in the Mercedes quite comfortably last weekend in China. So it can definitely fight its own, hold its own if it gets out in front enough. It's just whether or not if it can do in quali. You know, like that single lap pace just seems to be a little bit far off of the top teams and off the Red Bull. So especially what Max can do in its hands. So hey Central, good to see you, mate. What a session. People starting to leave and the helicopter keeps flying above your head. I know, it is a shame, but it's been so interrupted. It is a shame. How many stops I predict the race is going to be? So generally speaking, Dan, it is a 2-stop race. It's a very high-loaded circuit here at Suzuka. There have already been reporting graining on the tyres. We've seen the 2-stop race work as well. We've seen a couple of drivers try and eke out the 1-stop over the last few seasons, but it just doesn't work. The only reason you do a 1-stop is if you can benefit from a safety car, which we do see a high probability here at Suzuka. However, that's probably going to be totally irrelevant, the actual 2-stop, because of the conditions that we're going to see on Sunday. It's going to be another wet race. Will it be a 2-stop still? I don't know. I guess it depends on how much it dries out. If it dries out quite quickly, then we will see a 2-stop because the tyres will just like die so quickly. But if it's it could easily be a 1-stop in wet conditions. So. I know it's just practice, but you can see. Don't pay too much attention to any of the times set thus far, other than like the top 10, top 11. Yeah, no one's really been able to set sufficient times yet. But we are going to get some more running, though. We are going to get some more running. So this session is going to be back up and running in less than a minute. Less than a minute, the session will be back up and running again. Is the soft the best compound out there right now? It's the best. It's the quickest. It's not used for the race, though. The race generally is the hard or medium compound tyre because the soft just degrades too quickly. No, Sean, exactly. They won't be able to take much data from this session other than not the quick laps they've been able to set. Other than those few who have been able to get out there and set some real quick laps. Look, Lando's looking strong, as we suspect he would do here. He's comfortably had the better of his teammate the past 2 seasons here. And, well, we know the McLaren is strong. We expect him to be up the top. It's whether or not if anyone else can kind of compete with the McLarens. That's really the question that needs to be asked, or what we're looking to be answered. Same engine in both RB teams. Why the speed difference? Comes down to the aero. The aero package and that, and everything else that goes around it. Explain how DRS caused Doohan's crash, VJ. Yes, so if you're unfamiliar at Suzuka, we were deciding whether or not if it was true or not, but just how it is in the sim. The DRS here, how DRS works is that it deactivates automatically when you lift off of the throttle or if you touch your brake. But because of the nature of turn 1 here at Suzuka, you start to turn into the corner still on full throttle. Your braking marker for turn 1 is not, and you don't start to lift off the throttle until you pretty much kind of hit the apex or approach the apex at turn 1. So you start turning into the corner while technically your DRS can still be activated. So you have to close it manually. And what Jack Doohan's done, unfortunately, which has been very costly for him, is that he's deactivated his DRS too late, and that as he started to turn into the corner, he has no downforce. He has a lack of downforce in the car, which you need as you're turning into turn 1, and the rear just went round on him, and he went straight into the barriers. I've experienced the exact same thing in a sim, and that's what made me make that prediction initially, and yeah, it has been confirmed that you do need to turn off the DRS manually into turn 1, and yeah, he left it open just a touch too long. You're talking not a lot longer either, but enough that it meant he lost control of the car and went at a very high speed straight into the turn 1 barrier. Surely nothing else can happen. Never say never, Lily. Never say never. What is wrong with Russell trying to get ahead of everyone? I think he just wants to get laps in, you know. I think he just wants the data. Intrigued to see how Russell gets on here this weekend. I keep saying it. He's quietly going about his business. He's definitely an outsider at the moment for the championship. You know what he's like? He hasn't got the pace in that Mercedes to really win races outright. But if he can be there or thereabouts on the podium, we saw him a couple of times last year, benefit from some crashes of those ahead for him to win some races. Well, win and get some podiums. And I'm sure he'll be doing that again this year. But Piastri's on a lap at the moment, 30.7 for him. But Lando still has the better of his teammate into this first sector as it currently stands. Fastest sector time, though, belongs to Charles Leclerc at the moment. And you can see Lewis Hamilton is on a set of hards, so he won't be setting any fast laps right now. Charles Leclerc, maybe. I mean, they're on used sets of softs at the moment, so they're not going to be setting really any particularly fast laps, I presume. Maybe they will. Maybe they'll be able to get some temperature into these tyres, and the laps actually do get quicker. Well, as I say that, Oscar Piastri goes first driver to go sub 40 seconds in the second sector. So what lap time is he going to be able to set? Probably go ahead of his teammate, but his teammate's just gone even quicker. A tenth quicker than Piastri in the middle sector, and he's up in the first sector as well. So Lando, unless he's been held up by Verstappen there in the last corner for the chicane, will improve. So we'll see. And he did considerably get held up by Max there in the last sector. So yeah, Lando was about to put some more time on his teammate and improve that lap of a 28.1, probably get into the sub 28s. For the first time out of any driver, but he got held up by Max into the last chicane there. Just did some digging in some onboards. I think Norris's car caused the sparks that must have started the fire. I don't think it was just Norris's. They showed images of a lot of drivers. It's probably an accumulation of them, Taco, to be honest. How fast is Liam Lawson going? Lawson's going all right. He's on the mediums at the moment. So is anyone out there really going to be setting any quicker laps? Doesn't look like it. So, as I say, that Carlos Sainz does improve. But yeah, I mean, they're all on quite considerably used soft tyres now. We have less than 2.5 minutes remaining of this FP2 session. A very interrupted session, guys. Big thank you for those of you who've continued to tune in, though. Please hit that like and subscribe. And 1,800 of you in here. Oh, even more than we had this morning. Of course, we'll be back tomorrow for FP3 and qualifying in the afternoon. As I'm just watching an onboard of Charles Leclerc as he heads into the braking zone of turn. See the cars. I'm just watching an onboard of Charles Leclerc into the last chicane. These drivers are attacking the curbs in the last corner. I'm surprised they are doing that so heavily with these ground effect era cars. It's never really worked, but that car bouncing around so much. Nothing learnt here. It's a shame. Yeah, I mean, the only thing we've learned is that the McLarens are quick. That's kind of reiterated what we know. I still don't think the Ferraris have properly shown their hand. Neither have the Mercedes. I mean, then again, I guess at China they expected the McLarens to be at least 3 tenths quicker than them in a single lap. Maybe that's still the case here at Suzuka. I'm not sure. I do suspect it will be closer though. You think Lewis once again has the slight edge over Leclerc? As there is a incident with Stroll failing to follow race directions instructions. Oh dear. Is Yuki on a fast lap? No, Yuki's just doing some long runs at the moment. He didn't really have an opportunity to properly set a fast lap, so they bailed out of that. Oh, Lewis Hamilton also noted for failing to follow race directions instructions. I wonder what that's for. Normally it's due to practice starts, normally. That's normally what it's in relation to. But yeah, no, Yuki, don't pay any attention to his pace here and where he's finished in this practice session. We've had a very interrupted session where only a few drivers have been able to really get some proper fast laps in. Yuki, they bailed out of that earlier on. He did some soft running in the first practice session as well. Not too much medium running. As there's another red flag. Have we got another fire? I mean, we literally got 20 seconds remaining of this session and there's our 4th red flag. Max Verstappen's reporting he has no front end at all, understeer everywhere, so he's not happy. As there's no practice starts have been noted, so we're not having any practice starts. 4 red flags, ladies and gentlemen, in this. Have we got another fire? We must have the fire must be going on again. There must be another fire. No one's crashed. So if you just tuned in right at the end of this session, guys, we've had 1 red flag for Jack Doohan's crash into turn 1. We've had a 2nd red flag for Fernando Alonso going off at turn 8, beaching his car. His car is intact, unlike Jack Doohan's. And then we had a 3rd red flag for a fire, a trackside fire from the sparks being thrown up from the cars bottoming out through turn 7, Dunlop corner. And we've had one right at the end here, which I presume is probably for something similar. As yes, it is. There is a larger fire out on track. That is a very large fire. That is a very big fire. Where is that? It's very dry. Oh my god, that is a massive fire. You can literally, what? Oh my god, you can literally see it spreading. Oh my god. You can literally see that spreading on the grass and the dark part going like, oh my god. I can't show you it, but like it'll be online. It'll be on Twitter. Oh my goodness. Where is that? I don't know where that is. I'm trying to figure out what corner that's at. But the wind, I mean, it's 25-kilometre-hour winds, and that's really what causes issues with wildfires and stuff and causes fires to spread so much, high winds. But you could literally see that spreading. Oh my god, you could see it in real time. That is crazy. So yeah, no doubt, issues there. I mean, they'll be hoping for wet weather conditions this weekend, because that is not good. That is that's a bit of a dramatic end to this race. This practice session. So, yeah, I mean, not really too much to discuss there, really, with this session, guys, with it being so interrupted there. Piastri and Norris fastest, 1st and 2nd. Norris did get his fastest lap. Well, he was going to improve and get into sub 28, but he got held up by Max into the last corner, so he had to bail out of it. But yes, the McLaren's fastest quite comfortably, 4 tenths over Hadjar, who looks to be very good, of course. Did look very good in China. Continuing that on here in a solid RB car. Liam Lawson only a couple of hundredths behind his teammate in that RB car as well on a push lap, so that bodes well for Lawson, that he is on pace with Hadjar, it seems, on his return to the RB team. Bit of work to be done for the 2 Ferraris, it seems, and for George Russell, but how much were they really able to get those lap times in, and how much were they truly pushing engine modes, fuel loads, etc.? We don't know, but we do suspect they'll be slightly off the pace of the McLarens, so improvements for those tomorrow. Max complaining of understeer, not enough front end. We know Max loves that front end, so much talk about that and that sensitivity in that car that he loves over the past couple of weeks, and whether Yuki could deal with that. Clearly Max not liking the car setup as it currently is, so improvements to be made from him as he's down in 8th for half a second off of Piastri. Gasly in P9 looking for Alpine's first point this season. Sainz and Albon, they're not too much to separate them, only a couple of temps at the moment. Hulkenberg, Bortoletto 12th and 13th. Ocon and Behrman 14th and 15th. The second session where they've been behind the 2-stake F1 cars. Antonelli in P16, bit of work to be done for him. Alonso 17th as we went off. Tsunoda just wasn't able to get any fast laps in, so he was doing long runs, probably high fuel runs in P18. Stroll, don't know what was going on with Stroll in 19th, and Jack Doohan crashed. So that is it, guys. That is it. How would you rate the productivity of the session? Probably like a 2. That wasn't a very high productive session for any of the drivers, to be honest with you. They should get the Country Firefighters Association out their stat. I mean, yeah. I mean, that was a very large fire. Very large fire. So yeah. But not really too much to take into that, guys. Into that session. 4 red flags. Yeah, massively interrupted. The grass needs watering, that's why it's catching on fire. Yeah, it's very dry. The grass is very dry out there. But maybe they need some more trucks, yeah. But big thank you guys for tuning in as always. If you could hit that like button and subscribe, we'll be back tomorrow for FP3 and qualifying in the afternoon. And of course, the race on Sunday, where things could be completely flipped on their head with those wet weather conditions on the way. Great channel. Thank you. Thank you, man. Fun fact, Logan Sargent scored more points in 23 than Senna Schumacher. Oh, yeah, but different point scoring system. They should stop the clock when red flagging so drivers don't lose time on track. They used to. They used to in times gone by, but I think because of other series running on the track as well, there's a schedule but set out on the track. I think. Are there any support series at Suzuka here this week? I'm not sure if there are. I know there's not F2 and F3, but there might be some supercar. I mean, there might be like some Porsche Cup cars or something. I'm not sure if there's any support series at Suzuka this week. Hope this won't interrupt quali. We hope so. Yeah, I do hope so. I mean, there is supposed to be a bit of rain tomorrow in the air, so we may see a bit of rain for quali or throughout the day, so that should help it. But yes, primarily those fires are happening because the grass is so dry. There's very high winds at the moment, over 20 kilometers an hour, and the cars are bottoming out in a lot of areas here at Suzuka, and the sparks are obviously landing on the grass and setting it alight. So, thank you, Grant. Best part for me is you don't get all petty with driver likes and dislikes. Well done. Thank you. Look, I won't lie. I have my preferences. I have my bias, of course. I do support the British drivers. Lewis Hamilton is a favourite of mine, but I'm not immune to giving them criticism at the end of the day. And what I do here is, on my opinions, I try and give my... I always try and back my opinions up with reasoning. It's okay if you disagree with that reasoning, but I don't get bogged down in emotion and tribalism, which so often people do on the internet these days when it comes to F1 and just in general. So, but I want to see good racing. That's ultimately what I want to do. I'm an F1 fan. I'm a racing fan. I want to see wheel-to-wheel fights, and I want to see a battle for the championship. That's what I want to see. British bias, bro. Ooh, boo. Racing Bull's got the free patches pace. Yeah, so we're basically going blind into quali tomorrow. No, I wouldn't say so. I think what we do know is what we already knew heading into the weekend, is that McLaren are the team to beat, for sure. And I think Norris is definitely the driver to beat. He's had the better. I think Piastri needs to dig deep to really beat his teammate here this weekend, as Norris does look very comfortable. He was going to set a lap time, but was comfortably in the 27s if it wasn't for getting held up in the last sector. So early on, Norris has the better of his teammates. There's work to be done by the Ferraris and the Mercedes and Red Bull, especially, to close up that gap. Max isn't happy in that Red Bull, complaining of understeer, which we know he hates. He likes that front end. So with hopefully an uninterrupted session tomorrow, the teams will learn more, and they'll be able to dial in those setups and get closer to those McLarens. But yeah, the midfield is always a bit of an unknown, shall we say. I do think, yeah, the RBs are definitely the top of the midfield at the moment. They seem to have a bit of pace over the Williams, it seems. So Williams may be a little bit concerned about that gap there on their push laps compared to the RBs who have stuck 3 temps on them. But we don't know fuel loads, don't know battery modes, engine modes, etc. So, yeah, there's always those caveats to take into consideration. Oh, lovely. Nice one, Life. Nice one. You'll be cherry blossoms tomorrow. Oh, what a setting. Well, hopefully it's nice and dry for you and you don't get rained on. But no, I appreciate it, buddy. Would I say Hamilton had a poor start so far at Ferrari? No, I wouldn't say he's had a poor start. No, not at all. I think it's been better than expected. But Ferrari haven't had that good of a start. So, this is honestly the best F1 watch-along channel on YouTube, and I recommend it to anyone looking. Thank you, Casey. Spread the word, guys. Spread the word. But yes, thank you for those of you who support the channel as always. I've now got to go start my working day because, unfortunately, I'd love to stay and chat F1 with you guys, but I need to pay the bills. And, yeah, this doesn't quite pay the bills just yet. But big thank you to everyone who tunes in as always. Hit the like and subscribe button. We'll be back tomorrow for FP3, bright and early. I say bright and early. It'll be dark and early for me here in the UK, 3:30. And then we have qualifying in the morning. My morning, your afternoon, wherever you are in the world. But yes, be sure to join as a member as well if you want exclusive access to live streams that I'll be doing for those of you who support the channel even further. So yeah, big thank you guys. Have a lovely rest of your Friday, and we'll catch you tomorrow. See you then. Cheers, guys. Bye.